Hey everybody, today I want to talk about the wonderful world of shadows. Shadows, are you ready? All right, so look, a lot of times you get a great car drawn, but like what to do with the shadows underneath the car. And I've seen some pretty good car sketches ruined with some pretty terrible shadows. So today is pretty basic. I just want to outline two types of shadows. One is from hard light and one is from soft light. So let me show you a quick example using this cutout from a previous video, which I used my scissors for, and I have now extracted just the outline of this car. Look at this. It's like one of those 3D videos, like, man creates hilarious sketch of car that looks real, but it's not. Sorry. All right, so hard light is when a direct sunlight is hitting the car and casting a dark shadow on the ground that would be drawn with a marker and would basically look like this. It's a hard shadow. It's hard light. And I'm going to take my best shot at doing this here. You know, it's a dark line. You're using either black or 90% black, but I wouldn't overdo it, and you don't want to make it go outside the bounds too. You just got to think, where's the light coming from? If it's coming from this way, then maybe it's going to spill out a little more that way. If the light's coming from this way, then it may spill out a little more this way, and maybe some of this top is reflective of the top here. So if you don't really know which angle your light's coming from, you're going to be taking a guess. If that's way overthinking it and you just want a good shadow that's going to look good no matter what, get your marker. This is 90% gray by Prismacolor, and just make a dark outline that's no wider than the car. Okay, so you can see here's the edge of the car. So we'll maybe make a little nub there. Then it's under the whole bottom side without coming too far out, and then it's going to go no farther than the front of the car here. And you're just going to follow the lines of the car and bring it around. And that's it. All right, so that's always going to look good. It's always a pretty decent shadow. Don't overdo it. This is a basic shadow that you can see right there. All right, so that is the hard light shadow. That'll be with your 90% gray or your black marker. All right, now let's talk about a more subtle shadow, and I kind of like this. The more subtle way to do it is called soft light, and I've got my handy chalk here, and I've got gray and black, and since I'm not using really nice vellum paper, I'm using this cheaper, just regular drawing paper. I'm going to mix a little bit of gray in with the black, so it's not totally black. And also, if you have baby powder, and you're using a lesser quality paper, you can always mix in some baby powder with your chalk to make it apply a little bit more smooth, and it'll have a kind of a nice sheen to it too. It's kind of cool. All right, so I've got it on. I'm gonna wipe a little off, and now I'm gonna implement the same rule as I did for my other one, and just go under just a little bit where the car is. Oh, and you can see. Oh boy! Oh, I messed it up. Let's start over. All right, let's start over. It's okay to start over, everybody. Let's do this. All right. I think here's my problem. This Weeble pad, I should have just been using a little tip instead. I just got crazy and carried away. This is probably a better type of application. So let me go ahead and get this back in there. Get some more of this, and just make sure you always wipe it off first so you don't have as much gunk sitting on it. So before I apply this, let me put a quick dotted line around where you would do it, right? So if you're doing sort of a basic shadow, remember you don't want to extend it any farther than your car, and it's going to follow the lines of the car. And in this case, since the light is coming from behind, or since the light is coming down from the top, I like the front wheel to kind of stick out a little bit. I don't even know if that's necessarily how it is in real life, but I think it looks better to have that. So here's what I'm going to do, and obviously I'm cheating a little bit because I have a paper cut out here, but I'm going to apply my black chalk like that. And remember, this is going to look a lot better if you're using vellum paper. This is just regular sketchbook paper. Okay, so now you can see it's kind of a soft light, but you can also see it. I could probably use some more. So I'm going to get a little darker in here with my Weeble pad, try to blend it out like that. Okay, so that's looking pretty good, and obviously this is, you know, you'll be applying it a little more neat if you're not using an actual cutout. But I've got a little bit of goo over here that I don't want it to be, so I'm going to use this and just bring it about. Now, if you bring it about too strong, you can actually kill off some of those nice subtle lines. So don't get in the habit of, you know, really getting your eraser in here, because what you'll do is you'll all of a sudden make it a hard line. See that? So it was soft and now it's kind of hard, which, you know, it's okay. There's no right or wrong way. It's just like you don't want the attention to be drawn to the shadow. You want the shadow to convince people that it's real. And I think in this case, you know, I could be darker, but it's doing a pretty good job. So this is an example of how to do it with soft light. And obviously it'll look better. And if you're drawing on both sides of the paper on vellum, it'll look really good and it'll be convincing. Now, some people may want to do a combination. I don't really try to combine the marker and the chalk. It just seems too confusing. And then unless I'm using like really nice paper, I can't really blend it very well. It's kind of hard. I feel like I'm putting way too much medium on the paper there. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend both, but I would pick one. And just remember that you've got soft light and hard light that you can do. All right. So look, make sure you subscribe. Hit me up on the Twitter things at Pumthuggee and on YouTube, which is where I live. All right. I'm out. Here, hop in. Let's take a ride.